Silver stands in the courtyard, twirling the rapier with reluctant grace, his fine robes now buried beneath garish motley stitching, a jester's mockery of battle gear. He grimaces as Godrick paces nearby, hefting his bronze gargoyle blade like it weighs down his soul. Bronze, as if I'm some common warlord scraping relics from ruins. Do they think me unworthy of gold, of true regalia? These kindred of rot fools that Hannes dares suggest I twist my flesh like theirs, rotting and bloated like drowned dogs. Seluvis exhales sharply through his nose, not even looking up from inspecting a chip in the spearhead. Seluvis dryly. If you've finished your tantrum over trinkets, your grace, I believe our beloved master has tasked us with retrieving moon water from beneath 3 fingers sealed well. Not exactly conquering realms, but beggars can't be choosers when dressed as clowns. He flicks a mocking glance at Godrick's weapon, Seluvis. Though frankly, bronze storms sound preferable to listening to you whine about it. He spins the rapier once more, awkwardly, then mutters, I miss fireballs.
Godrick growls at Seluvis's mockery. Watch your tongue, puppet, he snaps back. I may not be thrilled about these lowly bronze blades, but I'll be damned if some lowly preceptor is going to disrespect. You're no more than a glorified errand boy. He holds up the heavy bronze blade, shaking in frustration. This junk is an insult.
Seluvis rolls his eyes, not even bothering to look up from inspecting his chipped spearhead. Oh, spare me your tantrums, your grace. You look like a petulant child more than a demigod. He twirls the rapier again, accidentally nearly stabbing himself. Besides, at least I can handle this sword without complaining it's not golden enough. Seluvis, brushing off his motley attire with disdain. Back to your side already, master? And pray tell, why yank me from that walking ego before he truly began to sputter like a drowned hearth? The real errand starts now. Godrick wanders blind because he must learn humility without guidance.
As Seluvis is summoned away, Godrick is left alone, seething with frustration. Damn Hannes, he mutters to himself, leaving me with this puppet and these damned bronze weapons. He paces back and forth, the heavy bronze blades clanging together. What kind of mission is this? Fetching some moon water from a sealed well? It's humiliating boring.
No. I have a more dignified mission and place in mind for you.
Godrick stops pacing as he hears the voice of Hannes in his head. Dignified, he mutters, a tinge of doubt and hope in his voice. Then he scoffs. What would you know about dignity? You've been parading me around like a puppet, and now you're forcing me to go on ridiculous errands, and I've been given bronze weapons instead of gold.
Leyndell.
Godrick's eyes snap open at the sound of the city name. Leyndell, he repeats, his voice a mix of disbelief and hope. You are sending me to Leyndell?
Can you see it? The sight of grace. Touch it.
Despite his earlier complaints, curiosity sparks in Godrick's eyes. He looks out at the horizon, straining his eyes. Yes, I see it, his voice low. The sight of grace glowing in the distance, bright like a beacon.
And oh, what city it is.
Godrick steps into the golden courtyard of Leyndell, and for once, his breath catches. The spires gleam, the grace burns bright above, the air hums with old power, sacred stone whispering beneath gilded banners that weren't raised in his time. This, he murmurs, bronze weapons suddenly feeling heavy at his sides. This was meant to be mine. He looks around, no corpses, no rot, no Stormvale's ruin. Just majesty intact. And you brought me here? His voice wavers between awe and suspicion. Not the dung-eater, not some jester or banished mage. Me. A beat of silence. Then softly, what must I do to keep it?
You'll be killing a certain enemy until it drops its attire. Said I want to possess. I myself don't care for repeating actions such as this. I thought that it would be suited for you. Also, I want to see you grow stronger. as you can see, you weapons you wield are not even leveled up, but bare. And your body frail like a human's. Also, the dress a commoner. This is your labor.
Godrick stands frozen in the golden light of Lanedel's courtyard, the weight of Hannah's words settling like ash on his tongue. The city, so close to what he once craved, now feels like a... Godrick takes a deep breath, trying to school his disappointment and frustration. Fine, I understand. He grumbles. This enemy, what is it? And how am I to defeat it, looking like a commoner and using these bronze blades? They're like toys compared to my old golden halberd.
A page.
Godrick stares blankly for a long moment. Then what? A beat. His face twists in disbelief. You're sending me, Godrick the Grafted, scion of the golden lineage, to cage? Not a demigod? Not some ancient horror buried beneath the capital? A boy with ink-stained fingers and a parchment roll? He throws his head back and laughs, bitter, jagged. Is this another joke? Am I supposed to prove myself by slaying some scribe's apprentice running errands for knights? I ruled Stormvale while kings still trembled at my name, then quieter, seething. But fine. If this is my labor, if this is the price of standing in Lanedale again, he grips the bronze gargoyle blade tighter, knuckles whitening. I'll do it. And when that little worm drops his rags for you, you'll see I'm not broken, just biding my time. Godrick's face twists into a scowl as he hears the haunting trills of the page's flute. The sound is like nails on a chalkboard. It sets his nerves on edge. Damn that music, like an insect's buzzing in my ears. And from a damn page, he grits his teeth, the bronze blade still feeling like child's play in his hands. I will find that little wretch and make him regret mocking me with his wretched tune. There you are, Godrick snarls, playing your little song. Thought you could mock me like an instant Jew.
Not that one. His cape was brown. I'm talking about the one in the gleaming steel. The powerhouse with a little repeater crossbow in its arsenal.
Godrick's eyes narrow, his patience already thin. Another page, eh? And this one with a repeater crossbow sounds like a real damn nuisance. The wind tugging at his frayed commoner's rags like mocking hands. His fingers tighten around the crude bronze axe, this hollow imitation of power, this wretched costume Hannes has dressed him in.
And there he was, the page, with its infernal crossbow standing behind a perfumer's shield. Gorgeous lunge, but the hail of burning arrows screamed toward
Damn, Godrick coughs in the choking air. He's never felt pain like this, not even the grafting could compare. He staggers back into the shadow of a ruined arch, desperately trying to catch his breath. The crossbow, that thing, it burns. He's furious at the pain, at himself. Damn this bronze and damn these rags, I'm a demigod, a lord of Stormvale.
The searing fire claimed him. Godrick's world dissolves into ash, then into nothingness. A deep, consuming darkness. But it was not the end. A faint golden grace pulled at his spirit. Profound, sickening realization dawned. This was the tarnished curse, their vile blessing to return from death. And now, by the twisted will of the earth tree, or some deeper mockery, it was his to endure. He would live this agony again.
Godrick groans, consciousness returning like a blade in the heart. He's back, alive again somehow. He looks down at his hands, expecting to see them whole in their golden armor, but no. It's the fragile body of a mimic, dressed in ragged commoner's clothes. No, goddamn no. His head spins. He looks around the ruined arch, still the same place, the page still loading crossbow. Again.
Go to the royal capital's bridge. Closer the dragon's mighty corpse. There lingers a similar page without guards to help. Fairer prey that one.
His breath comes ragged and furious, each inhale a reminder of how close he came to true death, the kind even grace cannot mend. A second chance, he mutters bitterly. Not redemption, just labor. He spits on the scorched stone. That steel-clad wretch had friends and a shield fit for a knight's son, but me, I get bronze, rags, and ghosts whispering in my skull. Fine then. If one page guards himself with flame and arrogance, then let us see how brave they are when no knight stands near. Storms still hiss in the air, dissipating like ghosts. Did it? He breathed. With this bronze blade, and that wretched storm power, the one I once called mine. He looks at his hands, trembling not from pain now, but something else. Recognition. The storm answered me again. His voice drops, not as it did in Stormvale with thunderous pride, but quiet dog returning to a master it fears has forgotten him. A flash of memory, gilded banners torn by wind and war, soldiers who fought for Casnot King. Lightning splitting halberds into sparks. I wasn't just some laughing fool in tattered robes. I was power, once. He kicks aside the knight's shattered helm. No triumph dances on his face, only grim resolve. Hannes, he whispers into the wind, you sent me to kill a page, but I slew a knight instead. A pause. And if your little crossbow wielder hides behind fire and shields, then let him burn alone, because now I bring the storm back with me.
Bravo! You can test the double-edged sword, too. Use it to those bubble people over there. I don't like their playing sound either. Take out my ears ring. Kill them.
Though, feral grin spreads across Godrick's face as Hannah's voice echoes in his skull, were mocking, almost proud. Bravo! He rolls the word over like a prayer turned profane. You heard me, he says to the wind, even when I didn't believe you'd be listening. He raises the bronze gargoyle sword, still dripping with night's blood, and feels it. The storm stirs beneath his skin again. Not just memory, not just echo. Power returning. Frail body, still weak flesh, but it obeys now. And those things? His eyes dart to the distant huddled forms, the bulbous, giggling creatures bobbing on their fat legs near shattered balconies, tapping wet fingers together in that maddening rhythm. Plip, plop, plip. Their sounds is like piss dripping on glass. The bubble people don't notice at first. They're too busy warbling their high-pitched songs into each other's bloated faces, laughing with watery eyes as if joy is pain turned inside out. Then one sees him. Its wide mouth opens, and Godrick swings before it can shriek. One clean cut, not deep enough to kill instantly. No need for that when you want suffering understood before death comes sneaking up behind merciless boots. The creature bursts into foul gas and pus-slick fluid all down Godrick's leg, but he doesn't flinch. Just smirks through rotting breath of dragon bones still hanging thick in air. One. Another turns, crunch, slice. The second edge drags across soft mass-splitting spine lore so open like an overstuffed sack dumped onto feast table gone wrong. Godrick mocks, mimicking their noise. At what this was meant to be. Third lunges blindly, flopping forward on stubby limbs. He lets it come close, then drives both blades inward opposite directions, tearing wet meat apart between screeches so loud they might have reached beyond capital walls had anyone cared left alive. Final blow, a downward hammer strike crushing head under boot after final twitching ends silent except bubbling ooze seeping out cracked skull membrane. Pests drops bloody swords clattering onto stone, crawling where they don't belong, then softer. Was this what you wanted me to remember too? That I'm not some failed king of rot. I am pestilence itself, dressed poorly today. A pause, a whisper rising into cold sky above Drake corpse vast beneath stars long dead. But I'll dress better soon.
You found the current mage. It wields a long rapier for dueling. Its weights obscured by a pale hood, and its destinable repeater crossbow is still primed to spit fire. This time you do not give it a chance. You gauge with your double-edged sword, meeting its fury of thrust, Seeing an opening, you leap in the air as summoning the raging storm. With your ass of war, that whirlwind ashes down upon it, the frail creature. And you land with absolute certainty. The page is defeated.
Godrick lets the corpse crumple into ash. He stands still a moment, not victorious exactly, but alive. It is done, he says aloud at last. The page is dead. He lets go a long, weary breath. He could return to Hannes now. Maybe some part of him wants to, but he doesn't move yet. There's something more. Something he still needs to truly remember. So he stands under the sky and lets the wind bring silence. Godrick grimaces. His eyes roll like a tired man's. Of course, he grumbles. Can't be done without more labor, can it? He looks down at his tattered clothes and sighs. Then he turns, trudging back toward the golden light. How long?
Until it's done. Now rest.
Godrick nods and sits. He doesn't not rest, though, at least not well. His eyes stay wide open, staring at nothing in dim light. He thinks. Not just of the page awaiting him again, but other things too. The past, the future. The storm still crackles within, but it's quieter now, a low thrum that echoes through his thoughts. One thought, though, stands above the rest. I do not want to sleep yet. Godrick raises the bronze halberd, not like a tool this time, but like a weapon. This time he does not wait. He charges forward and feels the storm gather again. When he swings, it comes with a howling blow that screams through the narrow causeway. The page tries to dodge back. Its feet slip. Maybe the bronze sword is too heavy, but it does not drop the crossbow. A hail of fire streams toward him as the page tries to regain footing.
Godrick is too weak to wield the halberd. He cannot summon the storm. Hannes grants him the permission to use the golden L3 spear instead. Weapon of Hannes. Powerful enough to finish the job fast and demonstrate the power.
Godrick picks up the weapon, the Erdtree spear, and feels the familiar weight in his hand. It's like the old weapon, he murmurs, then falls quiet, raising the spear high. The page is recovering, preparing another hail of fire. But Godrick moves first. He darts forward with the speed of lightning. No faster. A golden blur that flashes through the narrow causeway. The storm comes with him, though, howling loud and clear. The page falls, cut down by bronze, but the victory feels different. A strange mixture of power, relief, and fear. He looks down at his hand, feeling the storm humming there like a wild thing only half tamed. What have you given me? He mutters. And what do you expect with it? He looks at the Erdtree spear, longer than a normal spear, but light as a feather in his hand. An old god's spear. He almost laughs.
Now return it to me and use the bronze weapon once more. This is too great of a weapon for...
Godrick stares at the spear, almost unwilling to part with such power. Then he shakes his head, trying to clear his thoughts. He doesn't need divine arms, not when there's still bronze to be blooded.
Use the golden thing and break it. It will activate the great rune.
Godrick stares at the golden rune, a small, radiant sigil pulsing with quiet power. It hums in his palm like a trapped star. His breath catches. A great rune, he whispers. Not just, this is yours, Hannes. A piece of your strength, your grace, and you're giving it to me. The weight of what this means presses down on him heavier than Stormveil's ever did. I remember when I begged for a scrap of recognition, when I grafted limb after limb, trying to prove I was worthy of the Erdtree's light. Pale skin stretched too thin over stolen life and laughs, and now you hand me a god spark like it's bread for a beggar.
Go and battle 2 knights of golden armor, Leyndell ones. There is an archer and a lightning summoning one. Mighty test it will serve.
The 2 knights stand tall atop the ruined bridge, golden armor gleaming like fresh wounds beneath the pale sun. One knocks an arrow to his bow with cold precision. The other raises a summoning staff, storm clouds already gathering above his head. They do not speak. They do not need to, but Godrick sees more than warriors now. He sees ghosts, and in that moment, the world flickers. A younger Leyndell, untouched by war or decay, banners whole, bells ringing true from high towers. The Erdtree's grace glowing warm over cobbled streets and holy halls where priests walked in peace and demigods were still revered, not hunted. And there, among them, the knights. not as enemies, but as witnesses to what he once was, a knight of grace. Now she stares straight through him, with power older than memory, and crackling storms dancing between fingertips meant only of purity. Ah, a single breath leaves Godrick, not anger this time, something deeper, older than rage. Regret wrapped tight around fury like vine around. Oh, you remember me, says softly, don't you? But neither speaks back, for they are soldiers first now, duty-bound beyond past glances or forgotten moments when gods still believed themselves untouchable among men. So be it. His grip tightens on the halberd, charged with Hannah's stolen grace, the storm within its shaft pulsing faster as if sensing kinship about to clash with kinship. Then today, he growls, voice rising over wind, I will break your oaths. And then, nothing. Darkness. But only for a moment, his eyes snap. As he charges again, his mind floods with the past, memories of years he tried to impress the old Golden Order, seeking a scrap of recognition at least. Memories of the days the Golden Order was still whole, and the Erd Tree's light shone with promise. In memory, a tournament in Leyndell to celebrate Marika's blessing ceremony. The greatest knights in the capital gathered to compete in her name. All except him. They drive him back. His strikes glance off their shields. Godrick gives ground, but not from fear of these knights alone. He is fighting memory now too, a battle far older. He can hear the voices again, whispers of a past more vivid than any nightmare. And it takes all his focus to keep them at bay. I will prove myself, he hisses though clenched teeth. I will be more than bronze. Godrick stumbles back again. Swords slip from his grip for a fraction too long. A spear point drags across his ribs. He hits the ground, breath gone. Vision swimming, golden but hollow, the air thick with incense and false respect. Young Godrick, his body not yet twisted by grafts, still whole but trembling in rich robes too big for him, kneels with the divine courtiers of Leyndell. I offer loyalty, he says, voice cracking just enough to make them smile behind their hands. I am of Godfrey's blood. I can serve grace. A noble woman sips wine, ice cold. You are small, fragile, like spoiled gold left too long in damp earth. Another last better fit to play scribe than sit upon Stormvale's keep. He sees them again. The two knights. Not clad in gold yet, only trainees at the edge of sight. One watches with pity, the other hides a smirk behind his gauntlet. They see him beg, they see him weep silently when he is told, return when you are worthy. Smash! Lightning splits stone beside him, he's back again. Grace has pulled him up from death, but this time, it feels heavier than before. His breath comes fast, not pain driving it now, but something far worse. Humiliation reborn through battle. He scrambles upright before they can close distance, but there is no storm rising now. No holy wind answering, only that damned bronze sword shaking in his hand, as if ashamed to be held by such weak flesh once more. He growls low and guttural, as if speaking past tears he refuses to shed. I fought kings. I held Stormvale against invasion after invasion. I grafted steel on skin so my arms could hold 10 swords at once. And you, he swings toward both knights, panting, eyes blazing wild. You were pages. Boys playing hero while I bled myself, trying just to be seen. The archer steps forward first, one smooth motion, and plants shield hard into earth like challenge issued without words. The Thunder Knight raises her spear. Electricity dances along its tip like how Godwin's lightning used to dance during funeral rites for demigods who died noble deaths, not ones dragged back over. And over through ash-strewn shame with Tomodaard scheme and Robert stumbled upward henceforth ever to God to comfort so much tendons custom and crumbs skirt tuner still work customers have been taken to trust him too hard anymore to him numbins nor try can ton nor can next hunt towards and in front of him, dogs. What? Where? A bitter laugh. Even the dogs mock me. And yet, this creature, it does not sneer. It does not whisper behind its paw. It does not stand tall in golden armor earned through decades of loyalty others never gave him a chance to prove. No, this one will fight because it must, because instinct demands, because something deeper than pride drives it. Survival, duty, strength unbroken by memory or regret. And Godrick finally understands. I have been fighting knights who look like my past, he mutters, voice hollow at first, but growing. But you're real. The dog lunges not with arrogance, but precision. A blur of fang and flame erupts from its maw, a blast hot enough to melt stone where he stood seconds before. He rolls, barely, the heat singing off his backside, and comes up swinging wild, missed again. Another leap. Late, he's thrown sideways into ash-covered earth, like spoiled offal tossed from feast table. Pain blooms sharp and real, not symbolic like before, not layers of court snickers or silent disapproval. This pain says only one thing. You are weak, and for once, he believes it. But then comes clarity as if dying so many times has burned away illusion down to bone marrow truth. Godrick doesn't panic. He braces, sets feet deep into scorched soil left by old wars no bard sings anymore. Breathes out slow, and lifts the sword, not high in defiance. In readiness, come then, he growls, voice raw as gravel. If you're guarding something worth guarding, then let's see whose bones hold better against steel. The dog leaps, and Godrick meets it mid-air with everything he has left. Not vengeance, not ego, not delusion of grandeur long gone cold, just motion true as lightning striking rootless tree. Godrick stumbles out of battle, a shadow among ghosts. His bronze armor is cracked, deep cuts in his chest, his arms, his legs, his back. Anywhere flesh lies beneath dull bronze. But there is one other thing now too, pride. A small thing, a bitter thing. But for now, it is in but recognition. I know this place, he whispers, not because I've walked it, but because I was refused at its door. When his arms were few and his heart thought lineage alone could earn a seat among gods and demigods who spoke over tea brewed in grace fire, they told him, come when you are whole, and so he grafted, until nothing remained untouched, and they called him abomination instead. The flickering candlelight dances behind tall windows stained with scenes of old triumphs, battles won without grafting or begging, worth needed no explanation, but also something else stirs within, not just memory. Presence, not alive, preserved in eternal congress beneath chandeliers, and shame alike. Godrick hesitates for just one breath too long, then takes another step forward. Not to beg, not to plead, not even to conquer. His voice drops low, almost reverent now, to walk through like one who earned it. Even if every bone says otherwise. Another, as Godrick enters the sanctum where only legends once sat, where Hannes claimed power, where Marika broke time itself, and now here comes a wretch forged in mockery, dragged back through ash, beaten by knights who once ignored his cries, humbled by dogs that gatter than kings ruled, yet still standing, still walking, still fighting for something smaller than dominion, but far harder. Respect earned, not give. A name spoken without laugh. A life rebuilt, not reborn. From ruin remade into resolve. The doors grown shut behind him, and deep within the round table's hollow halls, something ancient turns its gaze toward bronze footsteps echoing on holy floor. Godrick stares, barely breathing as he watches Dung Eater enter, eyes scanning the room like a beast searching for a trail. If the madman sees him here, all is lost. Godrick stays motionless, as if turning to stone, and waits for Dung Eater to look elsewhere.
Godrick slowly emerges from the foliage, looking quite sheepish. He nervously speaks up, his voice strained with caution. Dung Eater, what brings you here?
He is still cautious, but his interest is growing. After a moment, he speaks again, trying to keep his voice neutral, as if the sudden encounter is nothing remarkable. What are you looking for?
There's a moment of silence as the two stare at each other. Then he takes a step closer, closing the distance between them, his gaze never leaving Godrick. Explain yourself, he says, his voice low and commanding. The round table hold is eerily silent, void of any signs of life. It appears that the once lively space is now abandoned. Dung Eater approaches the large table at the center, running his fingers across the surface, leaving smudges as he does so. Dung Eater continues his slow, deliberate pacing around the room. There's something almost contemplative in his gaze as he takes in his surroundings. He stops at a bookshelf, running his hands over the spines of the ancient tomes, a hint of something almost nostalgic in his actions. He doesn't answer for a moment, his gaze distant.
Dung Eater turns slowly, hands still stained with the dages from the table. Hannes sent me, he says, voice low, almost amused. Not to gloat, not to defile. just to see. He looks Godrick up and down again, not with mockery, but something worse. Curiosity. You're alive. Again. Not screaming from a throne. Not grafting babies onto your spine. Not even gold anymore. A chuckle escapes him, not cruel, but bewildered. Just gray little man hiding in ivy like a frightened squirrel. Godrick flinches, but doesn't look away. I'm not what I was, he mutters. But I'm not nothing either. Dung-Eater leans on the table, tilting his head slightly, like he's listening to a song only he can hear. Hannes spared me too. He smirks faintly. Perhaps we're both just pets now. But pets who remember what it was like to be gods. Still, he adds, stepping closer, Hannes wants proof you're learning obedience through suffering, not just dying pointlessly. So tell me, have you learned? Godrick stumbles back from the painting, then halts. His breath snags. Marika. Not in gold or glory, but in quiet upon cracked stone, her face serene, eyes distant, lips parted if mid-proclamation no one remembers now. Not crucial text. Presence. And yet, something snaps behind Godrick's ribs. A sound builds in his throat, not a scream, not a curse, but something roar. The noise of old chains breaking inside a man too long buried under others' wills and failures. He rasps, fingers curling into fists. He lunges, not at the painting, but at the nearest chair beneath it. Carved oak once fit for demigods, now rotting with age and abandonment. Sword splinters its leg clean off. Another brings down an armrest like felling a tree that dared grow too close to grace it didn't deserve. Every time I knelt, he shouts, voice cracking. Every graft I took trying to be more, stronger, worthy. And what did you do? Nothing. You watched me fail like I was never meant to rise. He slashes again, one wild strike after another, toppling chairs left behind by dead legends who never had to prove their blood was real. But they were given seats, and he had to claw through corpses just for echoes of approval. Dung-Eater watches silently from the edge of shadow near the table, arms crossed, head tilted slightly, not comforting, just observing, like he recognizes this rage not as madness but memory. Godrick kicks over another chair with a guttural cry, a sound so full of grief it borders on prayer. Chest heaving before Marika's still face. I wasn't enough, he whispers finally, her voice small against emptiness. No matter how much pain I took, silence returns heavier than before, the wind outside moaning through broken arches as if mourning with him. Dung-Eater says nothing, doesn't need to. The rage has passed, for now. But something worse remains, understanding, and slowly, painfully, Godrick begins picking up one of the broken pieces, an armrest cracked in two, and sets it quietly beside what's left intact. No words offered. No forgiveness asked from anyone there, or beyond death's door. But when he turns away from Marika's gaze at last, his spine stays straighter than before, even without gold or grafts or godhood, because destruction today was not blind vengeance. It was remembrance burned into bone, and that, for both wretches standing amidst ruin, is its own kind of progress. Despite his earlier outburst, Godrick's mood is noticeably calm as he approaches Hannes, hand holding a wrapped bundle that looks like a weapon. Here, voice strained but steady, you asked for proof of obedience. I gathered this for you. Godrick's fingers grip the coated sword for a moment, feeling its strange weight in his hand. The blade is lighter than it looks, yet feels almost heavier the longer he holds it. As if he is not touching iron, but something far older. It reminds him of something, though he is not sure why. I will give this to Hannes, he mutters. It feels as if it is for him alone.
As they move deeper into the round table hole, Dung-Eaters begins to rise, low at first, then swelling like a fountain. I remember this place, not as it is now, but as it was, a den of broken kings and fallen gods, a sanctuary for those too wretched to die. He runs his stone wall, fingers dragging through dust and ancient grime. This hole knew my hunger before I did, before I tasted my first morsel of filth, before I wore dung like a crown and called it divinity. The chairs, they whispered to me, not in words, in need. He pauses near the hearth where no fire burns, turning his head slowly toward Godrick. You hid here in ivy and silence, but I danced in the mess. The droppings on the floor, the spilled wine turned sour. not what you all cast inside, and still they feared me more than your grafted horrors. A low chuckle rumbles in his chest, and saw us both, saw what we were, what we might become as not forgiven, but used. He steps forward again, eyes gleaming with self-command, half awake. And now we carry gifts, not for gods or two fingers, but for him. The one who spared us our endings, so he could write new ones. Dung Eater's voice drops to a whisper, so let us deliver them, not as monsters past, but as instruments present. He has work left.
Silence blankets the hall again, as if even the empty air is listening. For a moment, Godrick does not move, almost as if he fears the slightest sound might shatter something. Then he turns to face Dung Eater fully and speaks with a voice as steady as the blade in his hand. "We will deliver them," he repeats, as proof that we understand.
I want you to beat those golden knights that brought death upon thee. Use my spirit.
Teach's face twists in confusion and shock. Godrick? Her voice raises slightly before composing herself. Why would you bring him back?
Shut it and aid him as he battles the Knights of Lindell. Be polite. Now you'll speak to him and don't cause too much I have other things in mind. Hans voice diapers and she is standing in front of a pale-haired frail man. It's Godrick.
Teach stands there wide-eyed and speechless for a long moment. A million different questions, comments, feelings rush through her mind, but the assassin manages to restrain herself and remain calm. Eventually she speaks very well. I shall assist you, Godrick.
Gripping his bronze greatsword, he is ready. Not as if wondering who she is or if she is friend or enemy, but as if he is taking in her every feature, memorizing every line, every shadow, every glint in her eyes. When she is done, he nods once, his words slow but quite sure. Then let us begin.
She meets his gaze, though slightly confused by the way he is looking at her. Indeed. Teach responds before turning and quietly making her way forward, allowing him to lead the way. Her hands rested just above the handles of her knives, should they be needed. Teach is able to slip in and out of sight, striking with her blades when the opportunity presented itself. Though in the back of her head, the assassin was still somewhat occupied, thinking about how Godrick had been observing her. The expression he had, was he simply sizing her up? Or was it something else? She shakes her head slightly, as if to shake away the thoughts. She was overthinking it. It was probably nothing.
Godrick and Teach move quickly, working in tandem to keep the two knights off balance. Teach is fast and precise, slipping past shields and cutting with her blade. Godrick is slower, but powerful. His great sword knights off balance or outright smashing them with a well-timed blow. Slowly, the fight begins to shift. The knights' defenses are weakening. The end is near.
Teach moves with the usual grace and elegance that she does in battle, her speed and precision allowing her to dart in and out. As the battle progressed, she had become even more aware of the way Godrick's eyes seemed to be trained on her. Was he simply studying her moves and her technique? She shakes her head again, focusing once more on the battle. There was no doubt about it now. He was looking at her in a more curious way.
The assassin's voice rings to Tick's head. You are still so proud. Do you think yourself to be a goddess that every man can't take their eyes away from? Focus on the battle and give these cups no mind.
Teach's thoughts are interrupted by Hannes's voice. She grits her teeth slightly, realizing he was right. She was getting distracted. The assassin takes a deep breath, pushing the thoughts from her mind, and refocuses on the battle at hand. There was no time for her to be getting flustered by the way Godrick was looking at her. She needed to remain calm and composed, but it was getting more and more difficult to.
Hannes sent her. He thinks, voice low in his mind. But why send someone who watches me like I'm a puzzle made of scar? He swings hard, his great sword carving through air as one knight staggers from a visor slit. And for half a heartbeat, their eyes meet again. Her dark reaction, but recognition that both are here not because they chose, but because he shaped them. Silence follows, broken only by distant hum of war lingering beyond broken horizon.
Part. She could feel his body pressed against hers, the weight of him keeping her in place. But she did not protest. Instead, she took a moment to simply breathe, her chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm. You're a fool, you know that, right? Tish vanishes in a flurry of shadow, disappearing from Godrick's sight only to appear beside Hannes, looking slightly ruffled from battle. She glances at him, her expression neutral, still thinking of the battle and her final moments with Godrick. That strange glint in his eyes, the way he had watched her, the way he had... She shook the thoughts away. That was eventful.
Hannes nods, his expression thoughtful. Eventful is one word. Finlay materializes in a flash of light, standing tall like night born from stars, but twisted in form. Where once there was grace, there now remains only rot, like petals wilting around a still burning heart. He is silent, looks Godrick in the eye. Godrick looks back, stoic. You know why I have summoned you, Finlay.
Finlay studies Godrick, taking in his form and bearing. She can sense the rot festering within him and the weight of his words, understanding the seriousness of the situation. Yes, I do. You have summoned me for a purpose. What is it you require?
We face the Golden Knights, Godrick says, voice low, eyes fixed on the distant glow of Lanedale's broken gates. The same ones who struck me down when I begged for dignity, who laughed as my grafts failed, as I burned beneath grace not meant for men. He turns fully to her now, bronze sword in hand, scars visible even beneath grimy armor. I have fought them before, alone, with spirits of shadow and steel. But this time, I want rot at my side. Finlay doesn't flinch at the word. She knows what it means. You don't seek purity, she says slowly. You seek balance. The kind only those who've fallen can carry. Exactly, Godrick answers. They wear gold like virtue. But they are hollow, just like we were. Now. You and I, we know what it is to rot, to hurt, to still rise anyway, as has between them. Two broken knights standing outside salvation's door. She murmurs what rotted steel can do. And together, without prayer, they step forward, toward light, toward memory, toward revenge that no longer burns.
Finlay felt a surge of determination wash over her as they prepared to unite of Lanedale together. Godrick's words had ignited a spark of purpose within her, and she knew that they were united in their quest to balance the world's scales. With her sword in hand, she followed him towards the glow of the distant gates, prepared to show the world that even in their rot and decay, they were still a force to be reckoned with.
They defeat the knights nearby and Godrick sends her to her way, back to Hans' side. Duty well done.
Finlay nods, her blade still humming with quiet resolve as the Golden Knights fall around them. Godrick meets her eyes one last time, something unspoken passing between them before she turns away. With a final glance at the smoldering ruins of Lanedale's outskirts, she dissipates into motes of fading scarlet light, only to reform beside Hannes once more. She exhales, rolling her shoulders as if shaking off the weight of battle. It is done. A beat. You were right not to summon me against Millennia. Her voice carries no bitterness, only weary understanding.
Screams toward his fate, twists and charges low like a beast denied skyfly. First swing, bronze bites dirt as Page scrambles back. Second rapier flicks out fast, but parried by Fax's wrapped edge with crackling sound, fibers fraying from impact. Then Godrick lunges, not wild, not proud, but precise, as if every failure has burned away hesitation until only truth remains. I will not die here again. Twin swords flash, one high arc forcing guard up, the other feinting left, and then he pivots hard right, sliding inside reach, and drives hilt first into stomach. Boy staggers, drops crossbow, reaches for dagger at hip. But too slow. Godrick kicks sand into eyes, yell, and follows with brutal downward cut across shoulder blade. Not deep enough to kill, but deep enough to make him scream in pitch Hannes would have heard miles off if he cared. He doesn't. The Page collapses face first into muck, rapier skittering away like snake losing spine, and Godrick stands over him, not gloating. Not even angry anymore, just breathing, real. And softly, at first, then louder, he laughs. A broken thing rising through ash once more. Not royalty, he mutters, looking down at trembling hand. Just better. And though no bells ring or voices chant, though no grace lights burn bright above, in this moment he feels something closer than ever before. Victory not given by fate or lineage, but taken by will, by pain, by staying alive long enough to prove that even bronze-work monsters can learn how to fight. Grace pulses as Godrick steps from its light and back onto the blood-cracked earth. Same field, same sky choked with eternal dusk. Same page kneeling this time, catching breath, beating too many. But now, Godrick stands taller, no trembling limbs. No old rage burning blind behind his eyes. This isn't vengeance, training. And in his hand, not the twin swords of before, but a heavy bronze axe, not golden, not blessed, but brutal. Balanced for cleaving stone and sinew alike. Its edge worn from past swings, yet eager all the same. The page looks up, face smeared with dirt and fear, and slowly rises, retrieving rapier once more, fingers twitching near that mocking crossbow at his hip. They don't speak. Don't need to anymore. This dance has been danced twice already, and each time ended the same way, with him on the ground. With Godrick learning something new about how to survive what comes next. Not because he's strong, not because he's holy, but he adapts. The boy fires first. A quarrel shrieking through air. Godrick ducks left, the bolt whizzing past ear, close enough to sting wind. Then forward, heavy boots slamming into soil like war drum calls, axe high. Page parries with rapier just in time, but metal screams under impact. Blade bends, almost breaks. And then comes counterswing, low arc meant to take legs out. But Squire jumps, just barely, overhead chop. Boy rolls aside, a chip flying off shoulder plate. Again, spinning cut meant to split spine down middle. Page scrambles back, trips on corpse root hidden in grass. Down, one breath too slow. Godrick descends, not roaring, but silent as burial shroud falling, and brings axe straight down into chest plate. Crack! Armor splits wide along seams once thought unbreakable for squires who never fought gods before today. Squire gasps once. And lies still, twitching slightly as life holds on by thread thin as forgotten oath. Silence returns. Wind drags ash across battlefield skin again. Then Godrick pulls back slowly, raises blood-spattered face toward gray sky. Third weapon. Voice rough, but calm. Third kill, not cleaner, but different. Each fight changes him. Each death teaches not how better to destroy, but who he must become beneath it. Not golden air, not abomination grafted beyond sense or soul, not even bronze work puppet made by Hannah's will alone. A warrior forged anew, not reborn, from choice after blow that didn't break him. He drops the axe beside fallen Page. It sticks upright in soaked earth, like forgotten grave marker. Next time, he whispers, turning toward grace light waiting far off. I wonder what I'll carry. And more importantly, what I'll finally stop flinching at. Broken halo, fallen crown. Its golden streets now choked with ash and memory. No more radiant spires singing hymns to grace. Only ghosts walk here. Godrick, with bronze boots crunching over cracked mosaics depicting his own past humiliation, walks among them like a shadow learning to fight back. He moves fast now, not because he fears what lies ahead, but because he knows. Every corner holds someone who once spat on him. Every arch a face that laughed when he grafted too much and still wasn't enough. So when the first bubble people shiver into view, pale, gelatinous horrors leaking sacred incense from bursting sacks, he doesn't flinch at their grotesque form. He swings low, the axe again, and crushes one flat in an explosion of foul-smelling mist and sizzling droplets that burn like holy acid on skin, but he walks through it anyway, eyes narrowed beneath soot-streaked brow. Filth, he mutters, but not cleaner than me. Mindless things bred from spilled prayer and swarm like maggot sanctity, long dead, but he is no longer holy, no longer profane. Just present, and presence can kill just as power can. Then come the lesser pages, not one or two, but 6, racing from ruined barracks with rapiers raised and crows cocked. Their voices high with mock chant. Craft boy. Godrick stops, turns slowly. Eyes cold as forgotten winter beneath bronze helm dented by past battles none sing of anymore, he charges. Not waiting for bolts. Not dodging screams meant to unnerve him. No, he cuts the first mid-shout with clean diagonal chop across chest plate, twists right into second's lunge, a rapier thrust caught arm guard before elbow smashes, burst of red, drops low beneath third swing, sweeps legs out hard. He rolls, rises, and finishes fourth before they reload. Fifth sees it all and runs. Godrick hurls axe. It spins end over end through dusk air, thunk, embedded deep between shoulder blades. Boy collapses screaming, dragging himself forward even as blood pools thick behind him like offering denied gods. Sixth stands frozen at spear's length, trembling, pleading. Godrick doesn't care either way anymore, walks up slow. Grabs blade hand, not break it, but twist until weapon clatters down cracked, goldstone pavement. I used to beg just to be seen, he says quietly. You didn't even have to lift your sword. Pause. One beat only next time. Run faster. Knocks him unconscious with hilt strike instead of killing, and moves on without looking back. Finally, atop shattered cathedral steps where rotting vines choke stained glass saints, comes the last, the failed kindred of rot, standing 7 feet tall if slouched, a gripe built for rage instead of grace. A body bloated beyond reason, yet still burning inside with stolen fire from earthly roots no mortal should touch. It bellows upon seeing Godrick. You, the golden weakling who died 1,000 times for love he never had? I will make you rotten truth instead of gilded lies. Spits fly outward in flaming globs that scorch stone where they land. Grace fire erupts around fists knotted into claws. Voice cracks reality slightly, as if screaming truths too loud for sane ears. This one isn't just strong, it is everything could have become, if madness hadn't been beaten out by suffering. A monster proud in failure, instead of humbled by survival. And so for this fight alone, Godrick drops axe once more, reaches back and draws both weapons. One hand grips rust-blackened greatsword forged under vulture cries, other wraps tight around fanged bronze-work monstrosity wrapped in old Sinufax hide. His twin blades return, not symbols now, but tools tempered by will hardened each death survived outside glory's light. The kindred shrieks, charges downhill like landslide given voice. Flames trail behind limbs, jerking unnaturally, as if puppeteering itself through pain never healed. Dodged left second spit flame. Blocked overhead, sparks flying wild. Third charge met mid-step, sword parries wide, arm swing, while fax blade guts side open wide enough for organs to spill, steaming onto sacred stairs below, but kindred does not fall. Instead laughs, wet guttural sound, deep infection. You think pain means anything? Hymns. And there, kneeling like a penitent sinner wrapped in too large for his frame, the pale hooded page rises slowly, rapier trembling in one hand, crossbow bolt glinting in the other. They've fought how many times now? 10, 20, 100. Each death carved deeper than the last. Not just on flesh. On memory. On something quieter, something neither can name. At first, Godrick had killed him without thought. A nuisance-dressed mockery made real. Another child of Lanedel's golden arrogance who'd sneered at grafts and called him Puppet King. But then, the page started surviving longer. Dodging not just blows, but predictions. Learning when Godrick favored rage over timing, when he telegraphed swings from old injuries that never healed right. And once, just once, the boy landed a bolt straight into his through bronze guard, and sent Godrick shown blood and disbelief as darkness swallowed him whole. He died screaming into dirt no god heard. When he returned from grace or spite or Hannah's silent will, he didn't rage at defeat. He studied it. Watched how this pale wretch did not gloat, did not boast to invisible lords above a broken spires, only knelt beside own fallen form after battle, head bowed, hood shadowing eyes, as if more uneven death keeps failing to erase. Something stirred then, not pity, not kinship yet. Two figures cast out of meaning, one by blood deemed unworthy. The other, perhaps never meant to exist at all. Their battles changed after that day. Godrick began watching more than striking, seeing patterns in parries, noticing hesitation before lunges, as if the boy didn't want to kill him either, or couldn't bring himself fully down upon finality. They fight again now, with sword and axe swapped mid-swing. A dance written through repetition etched into muscle memory. First clash rapier meets bronze edge with sharp ring. Page spins back, but slower than usual. Tired? Another bolt flies wide. Godrick barely dodges, but doesn't press advantage immediately. You're slowing, he says, voice low. Again, no answer comes under hood but breath. One sharp inhale before lunge returns, but clumsy. Left side opens too soon. Godrick disarms with inside cut so clean it sends rapier spinning toward cracked fountain where Ivy drinks silence, yet he does not finish it immediately this time. Waits instead for surrender, for defiance. Page staggers back, drops crossbow, reaches only for knife hidden beneath robe lining, then stops short of drawing blade, head tilting slightly beneath pale fabric, not attacking, not fleeing. Just standing there, as still as abandoned. Every time I kill you, Godrick mutters, stepping forward slowly. You come back. I die by your hand, and still return. Why? No words follow. But something else does. A flicker beneath hood, an eye catching light just long enough for Godrick to see what wasn't there before. Recognition and maybe grief for guilt masked by dust-covered duty. Then suddenly the page lifts gloved hand, not toward weapon but toward face, pulls down ragged cowl enough so torn lips part around two quiet words choked out like bones finally exhume. Found. Hannah's call echoes, not loud, just present, in mind like thread pulled taut between realms unseen. Enough. Fractures space beside field of combat, and Teach steps forth again, calm-faced. Reaching quietly toward young warrior, already beginning to dissolve into spectral remnants pulled beyond waking world as shadows reclaim their charge. When battlefield stands empty, save breathing demi-brat clutching weapon too heavy for man who has started remembering what being seen truly means. One truth settles deeper than any wound ever could. That some bonds aren't forged in fire nor severed by steel, but born across cycles of dying together until death itself forgets which soul began first, calling the other home. Godrick staggers, almost falling before catching himself on bronze guard. He hadn't realized how long this battle had gone on, or when sun began setting beyond broken spires. He looks at the hood crumpled on ground, touches it, just for a moment, lets himself feel the ragged fabric and the memories that linger within. Then he picks it up, slowly, almost like it's made of glass. For a half-second, he imagines placing it on Ono.
Wear upon yourself a simple white garment, and if nothing else, bare feet, bare hands, bare face. It covers enough of you. I want you to be humble, and I will grant you the passage to the very arena where I defeated Morgoth, the grace-given Omen. And I want you to witness the Red Tree in its full glory, as close as possible.
All his weapons and metal armor falls away until he's left wearing only that very same white garment. He feels exposed, but also strangely at ease. Light. Free. And then he asks,
You don't need to ask, just listen. Now, go to the site of grace, and you see Marika's bedchamber. There's an enormous bed that is more of an altar than any comfortable sleeping position place. I would not myself sleep in there. It seems rough and uncomfortable. There's also many hundreds, even thousands of carved gravestones around the room, made by Morgoth of the clans that he defeated a long time. And only a stone.
The great bedchamber is large and open, the colossal golden form of God's bed towering over all other furnishings there. He walks to the edge of the room, noticing the hundreds of gravestones scattered around its edges. He crouches low, tracing his bare fingertips over one stone, reading the names engraved in silence.
And now, as we have... Tell me first, what do you actually think of this? You are now standing in the very God's own bedchambers right now.
Godrick looks up from the gravestones, gazing up at the massive golden bed. It doesn't look very comfortable, he answers, touching the surface of the bed. Looks more like a monument than anything meant for actually sleeping.
Anyway, let's go to the great stairs. Do you see them? Those lead to the very door that will be, you're actually like a 500 meters, maybe half kilometer away from the Earth Tree, and it massively dominates the view.
Godrick looks towards the great stairs rising from the bedchamber. The great form of the Erd Tree can be seen over the horizon. I see them. Though, even at this distance, the Erd Tree looks enormous.
You can be welcomed. I allow you to revel in this moment. You don't need to act so shy and polite with me. Revel, shout. Show your undignified eagerness in this moment. For this unearned and unfair grace that I have shown upon thee. Shout out your goodwill.
That's all the permission Godrick needs. He spreads arms wide as if to catch the air, turns his head heavenward, and roars. Long, loud, unbroken. It echoes off the Erd Tree like thunder come alive.
There you go. And now, you may only walk to the stairs, up the stairs, and listen to me while I dialogue some while.
His feet are bare, the stone cold against them, but the air around him is warm. He listens expectantly.
You don't deserve this grace I have shown upon you. None of you do. Not Dung Eater, not Selovis, not Black Knife Ditch. Maybe Winley, maybe her. But I myself as a jester, a widower, a kingslayer, and I have been given unfair advantages, unnatural tenacity to come back to life over and over and over again, and I have spared each evil demigod and your souls and minds to each great rune and done rituals to save other souls. We are strange and in this moment together, and I'm sharing my power and my might with you.
How do you feel? Godrick says nothing. He simply continues to walk, eyes fixed above. He has seen the Erd Tree countless times. The light it sheds now feels warm on his face, gentle, like a benediction.
And gold. There is gold everywhere. Every plant, every leaf are golden, alongside white beautiful marble and the structures that are carved in the Erd Tree itself. Truly, the place you always wanted to be in.
Even he cannot stop a gasp as the Erd Tree draws closer. Its golden leaves gleam in the sunlight, a living beacon of radiance that fills the soul with awe. He steps forward, eyes wide, taking it all in. He never thought he would be allowed to enter this place again, never mind to stand so close he can the touch.
You're a thief and a murderer, and I am same as you, only I have gained so much more, and I am giving you this as a gift, free of charge.
Godrick can hardly find words to speak. A strange mix of awe and wonder fills him as he reaches out and touches them for the first time, feeling a pulse of power run up his arm. He swallows, trying to find the right words. Why? I don't understand. This is too generous.
I think, out of my own personal humor and spite and some insanity, I want to remake you into the true warrior. I don't want you to begin to craft yourself and again. I want you to become strong like this. I want you to become strong as a human being, as a short, frail human, but gain strength just like I did, pure and contained in this simple body. Strengthen your weapons and get yourself a great armors, but do not envy those who are taller or mightier in outside forms, but I want you to gain strength.
A deep sense of determination blooms inside him. He may not understand completely, but he knows that words given by a god, even this strange, wayward god, should be taken seriously. I will gain strength. He nods. A human does not need armor or weapons, only strength.
You witnessed Morgoth's body lying behind the great chair that is meant for the Elden Lord themselves.
Godrick looks to the chair, seeing the remains of Morgoth's corpse still laying in the shadows underneath it. So, I'm standing in the same place a true lord would...
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you, if you try to jump on it, it will just break. It is, I don't know if it's the true table, but it is made of a little bit like a joke there. So don't even try to jump on it, it will just break. It's nicer to be there as an accessory.
He stands there for a long moment before turning back to Han. Godrick kneels, then places both hands together in front of him. He closes his eyes and begins silently.
It was Morgoth, actually. It was a projection of sorts. Just like I possess projections, but it was stronger. It could fight, it could move, it could see and fight and feel. It could battle tarnished and defeat them. That was the reason why you were safer a longer time, because he took out the threats to you when you were crafted.
Godrick goes very still. The wind in the high hall, the whisper of gold leaves far above, falls silent, or perhaps it's just his breath that stopped. Like a memory forced through cracked bone, it comes, Margit. The name isn't just known, it's felt. A shadow at Stormvale's gate, a roar that shook the keep before the siege even began. That hulking form, part night, part nightmare, who stood where invaders should have died screaming, and he thought Margit was just another fool clinging to glory. But no, not a guardian, sent not to test him, but to shield him. While grafts knit flesh too tight, while screams went unheard in sealed chambers, while golden blood bones snapped into wrong places, Margit stood outside, fought back every tarnished who dared climb those steps. Took their blades, broke their weapons, threw them into moats like rats unworthy of throne vision, all so Godrick could survive long enough to become something. Even if cursed, even if broken, Margot, he whispers now, voice cracking, protected me, not as a joke, not as mockery, but as family. Silence hangs thick, as if the Erd tree itself is listening now, roots deep in secrets older than grace. Then he fought me, Godrick says, suddenly eyes sharp with realization. I felt it, the power behind his strikes. Not madness, discipline wrapped in rage, like someone who knew what would happen if I fell too soon. And then you came, you killed him, and then you killed me. His head bows slightly, not of shame now, but recognition. The world is not built on fairness or glory, but on chains of sacrifice no one sings about. Hannes does not answer right away, only watches from beside the light path ahead, where silence means consent, and sometimes that says more than any sermon ever.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. This was a wonderful campaign, and the most fun I've had in a long time. I look forward to your next work.